I am successful. I look for and find opportunities where others see nothing. I am a lifetime learner. I am solution focused. I see only solutions. I am a solution. Let me formally welcome everybody to the Be Transformed Tribe. I'm the catalyst. My name is Lanre Olusola, and this is your dual go-to space for very practical, spirit-mind transforming conversations that empower you to overcome life's biggest challenges. Together, today we'll transform your mind, empower your spirit, and activate you to become everything that God has called you to be. And our topic tonight is why more is never enough for the greedy people. How can we begin to unpack how greed fuels dissatisfaction and burnout? It's interesting, how we coined the topic, why more is never enough for the greedy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try as much as possible to be as real as possible because we have all suffered from greed, and some of us still suffer from greed today. But we've colored it another name, we've defined it, we've justified it, and anything that human beings can justify, oh, yes, they can do anything that you can justify, you can do. So, greed is one of the most deceptive traps of life. It looks attractive, it looks like something else that it isn't. It feels powerful, but it leaves you restless, it leaves you empty, and it leaves you unfulfilled. I want you to picture this. You're at a buffet. Your plate is already full, but you keep on piling more. Check this out. You put rice on the plate, you put eba on the plate, you put beans on the plate, you put pounded yam on the plate, you put egusi on the same plate, you put amala on the same plate. You put begiri and ewedu stew or fada stew, small chops. You put chicken, noodles, beef, fish, salad, dessert on the same plate. And then you have bottles of drinks next to you. Then your plate is stacked so high, everything starts to fall off. Why? Because it is a buffet. The irony is that your stomach really cannot take all of that. But your eyes are screaming for more because there's largesse everywhere. There's plenty food everywhere. Oh, you keep saying to yourself, just one more spoon, just one more bite, but your stomach is full. This is the picture of greed. You already have enough, but you cannot stop reaching out for more. Greed promises fulfillment, but delivers exhaustion. Greed whispers the next win. Greed whispers the next car, the next relationship, the next deal. That's when you feel that you'll be satisfied. But the truth is that satisfaction never comes with greed. Greed is also like chasing 10 birds in the bush while letting go of that one sure bird in your hand. You give up real, tangible blessings in pursuit of illusions. And in the process, you lose peace. You lose meaningful relationships, and oftentimes you lose yourself. Greed is not about lack of resources. Greed is about lack of contentment. It's about covetousness. Many people who are greedy often have enough, but yet they live in scarcity because their hearts never learn to say, this is enough, or I am enough. That's right. So, what happens to you when you live in greed? Burnout becomes the order of your day. Stress becomes your companion. Anxiety becomes your modus operandi. You begin to compare yourself, and guilt takes over. You're always running, you're always hustling, but never resting and never enjoying. Your relationships suffer, your health breaks down, your joy evaporates, and life feels like it never ending chase. You're always on the treadmill. But I've got good news for you tonight because we're going to understand the antidote of greed. And the only antidote of greed is contentment. And contentment is not about complacency, it's about gratitude. It's about seeing what's already in your hands and saying, this is good, this is sufficient, and I can grow from here without killing myself and without losing my soul. For what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and he loses his soul? Contentment is where peace lives. It's where joy flows. It's where gratitude unlocks abundance. And it's where true success, the kind that doesn't cost your health, your relationships, or your soul, begins to flourish. We're going to unpack this very, very important topic. But I want to ask you, to ask yourself a few questions before I define greed and contentment. Am I living in greed or am I living in contentment? I want you to think about that because the truth is, the more you keep chasing more, the less you'd ever feel like enough. So the moment you embrace contentment, you discover that less can actually be more and enough can truly be enough. So let me ask you another question that I want you to, maybe three questions that I want you guys to go and reflect on. What's on your own buffet plate right now that you keep piling up, even though you already have enough? That's the first reflective question. What's on your buffet plate right now that you keep piling up, even though you already have enough? The second reflective question that I have for you, I want you to keep thinking about it as the conversation goes on. Have you sacrificed or are you currently sacrificing your peace, your health, or relationships because of your chase after just one more thing? I take that again. Have you sacrificed in the past, or are you currently sacrificing your peace, your health, or your meaningful relationships because of your chase after that one more thing? The third reflective question that I have for you is, if you pause today and you looked at your life, what's that one blessing in your hand that you haven't truly acknowledged, celebrated, or enjoyed? Yes, yes. If you pause right now, and I'm asking you to pause right now, and I want you to look at your life and ask yourself, what's that one blessing in your hand, that one bird in your hand that you haven't truly, truly acknowledged, celebrated, or enjoyed? That's right. Now, these are three reflective questions I want you to take away. I want you to ponder on. But I want you to answer these next four questions for me in the chat room. If you've ever found yourself piling up more and more on your life buffet plate, even when you already had enough, I want you to drop a one in the chat room or give me a thumbs up in the chat room. Yes, if you've ever found yourself piling up more and more and more on your life buffet plate, even when you already had enough, I want you to drop a one or I want you to drop a thumbs up in the chat room. Yes, yes, yes. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Okay. The second question that I want you to answer for me is, if you've ever chased that just one more win, just one more deal, just one more relationship, just one more upgrade, and still didn't feel satisfied, I want you to type more in capital letters in the chat room. You, you know, if you've ever chased that just one more win, just one more deal, one more relationship, one more upgrade, and you still didn't feel satisfied, I want you to type more in capital letters in the chat room. Great stuff. Keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. Keep it coming, guys. Awesome stuff. Keep it coming. Keep it coming. Wow, 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 wow. The third question. If you could honestly say there's at least one blessing in your life right now that you haven't truly acknowledged, celebrated, and enjoyed, I want you to type the word enough in the chat room. Enough in capital letters. If there's truly one blessing in your life, right? Or more that you haven't truly acknowledged, celebrated, yes, 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 or enjoyed, I want you to type enough in the chat room. Wow, 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 wow. The fourth question that I need answers to from you, and the final one is, if you are ready to move from the trap of greed into the freedom of contentment, I want you to type freedom into the chat room. I want you to type freedom. If you are ready to move from where you are to where you should be, I want you to type freedom into the chat room. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much. Now, I'm going to speak to the definition of greed. I'm going to speak to the definition of contentment. I'm going to speak to the root cause of greed, and what it will cost you. And then I'm going to lean into how to stop greed. So, first of all, greed is an excessive, insatiable desire for more. Take that again. Greed is an excessive, insatiable desire for more. Whether it is more money, whether it is more power, whether it is more recognition, or whether it is more possessions, it is never about need. It is always about wants. The major difference is that greed is never about your needs. It is always about your wants. Greed is fueled by the lie that just one more will finally make you satisfied. It's a fallacy. It's a lie that one more thing is what will make you satisfied. But it never does. That's right. That's right. It never does. Now, contentment on the other side, right, is a deep sense of peace, gratitude, and satisfaction with what you already have, while still leaving room for a healthy vision or aspiration. Now, contentment is not complacency, it is freedom from comparison, envy, restlessness, dissatisfaction. That's right. That's right. So, contentment is a deep sense of peace, gratitude, and satisfaction with what you have. But you recognize that there's a vision and a purpose for your life, and you aspire to achieve that vision and that purpose. So, contentment is not complacency, it is freedom from comparing yourself with other people, freedom from envy, freedom from restlessness, and most importantly, freedom from dissatisfaction. So, contentment always says, I have enough. It always says, I am enough. It always says that, God is with me and I am one with God, and God is my supplier and my source. It always says that my portion for now is all that I'm supposed to have, and it is perfect for me. Very important. Now, let's go back to greed, right? And let me share with you, right? And I'm sure many of you will be able to recognize some of this. 8 critical root causes, 8 most common root causes of greed. Number 1 is fear of scarcity. Believing that there will never be enough. Believing that there will never be enough. The fear of scarcity is the number 1 reason. If you have a fear of scarcity, I want you to put fear of scarcity, FOS, in the chat room. If you have a fear of scarcity, I want you to put FOS in the chat room. Quickly, guys, quickly, guys. That's one of the critical root causes of greed. The second most critical and most common is comparison with others and envy of what other people have. You are always comparing yourself because you have always been compared with others. That's what you know. That's your default. You always look at other people. Okay, this person is at this status. I must achieve it. This person has this. I must achieve it. Measuring your own success by virtue of other people's successes. So if you're struggling with comparison and envy, I want you to put C.E into the chat room. comparison, and envy. Just put C.E into the chat room. We're here to help ourselves. So please don't be shy. Don't be shy. This is your night for freedom. Now, the third critical and most common root cause of greed is low self worth. That is, you downgrade the value of yourself. You don't actually even value yourself. You are always trying to prove your value through your possessions, through your finances, through your achievements. You are always trying to prove that so it is what you have that you use to value yourself, not what you are and who you are. So if you are struggling with low self-worth, I want you to put LSW, trying to always prove your value through things, material things. I want you to put LSW in the chat room. Quickly, 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 quickly. The fourth most common is cultural conditioning. Society always glorifies more as success. So you have been conditioned by society's definition of success, right? Cultural conditioning. Put CC in the chat room. You are conditioned. That's all you know. Your parents have always pushed you. Society has always pushed you. That your job is always pushing you, right? That more is the definition and the standard of success. CC. That's right. Thank you for sharing. Now, the fifth most common reason and cause of greed is insecurity. So possessions become your false sense of security. If your account balance is low, it is a problem. When you don't have a new car, it is a problem. When you don't have new clothes, it's a problem. Those shoes you have to buy every month. That bag you have to buy. So possessions become a false sense of security. If that is a problem for you, I want you to put IN into the chat room. IN. You measure and you derive your sense of safety from possessions. Put IN into the chat room. Put IN into the chat room. Now, the sixth cause of, and root cause of greed, the sixth is ego and pride. You desire to be more than people around you. You desire to have more than people around you. You desire you are too competitive and you must win. Always be the one that dominates and always outshines people. Ego and pride. If it is ego and pride, put EP into the chat room for me. You desire to always win. You must 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 be on top with people around you. You are very competitive. Very competitive. And you must be at the top. So if ego and pride is yours, I want you to put EP into the chat room. The seventh root cause is trauma of lack. So you suffered poverty in the past, or rejection drives you, and so you have to overcompensate. You have suffered lack. It has traumatized you. You have suffered rejection, and rejection, it drives you. And then overcompensation for that past poverty and that rejection that you suffered drives you. That's trauma of lack. TOL. I want you to put TOL into the chat room. TOL. Put TOL into the chat room. And the eighth one is poverty mentality. Poverty mentality. If that's yours, put M into the chat room. Put M into the chat room. The truth, ladies and gentlemen, is many of us have 1, 2, 3 of these things that are playing out in our life consciously and consistently. And if you do not check these things in your life, it will cause harm. So, if you are struggling with 2, 3 of these things, or if you are struggling with more, or if you are struggling with greed, it will cause you a lot of harm. Broken relationships, loss of your integrity, anxiety and restlessness, addiction to work, addiction to making money, addiction to always taking risks, addiction to consumerism. It's all about possession, property. Yeah. Shame and guilt. Ultimately, it leads to an unfulfilled life, and you realize too late that you climbed wrong ladder, leaning on the wrong wall. Greed seems to bait you by promising you everything, but never giving it to you. Yeah, it always seizes fulfillment, it always seizes satisfaction, always seizes your peace. So, how do you tell if you're going through this? What are the telltale signs and all of that? I think it's first of all important for us to separate ambition from greed, because ambition is not the same as greed. Now, ambition and vision grows your potential and helps you serve other people. Greed consumes and destroys. Ambition is healthy. Greed is toxic. Now, and greed is never ever good. Growth is good. That is ambition and aspiration, right? Desire is good. But greed corrupts desires into obsession. And so it is important for you to know that when you are trapped in the cycle of greed. And how do you know that you are trapped in the cycle of greed? When you cannot say, I have enough. When you feel restless despite living in abundance. When you sacrifice your peace, your health, your relationships for more. You are in greed's grip. That's right. So I want you to reflect it and say to yourself, am I sacrificing my peace? Am I sacrificing my health? Am I sacrificing my relationships for more? I want you to take a moment and reflect. And if the answer is yes, then it's time for you, to get out of that trap before it destroys you. And how do you get out of it? I'm going to share 6 steps, and I'm going to use an acronym that I call GREEDY. GREEDY, GREEDY. If you've got to get out of this thing, there's 6 steps. The first thing is you must gratitude practice every day. Every moment of your life, you must stay in gratitude. That is, the attitude of gratitude is the first step out. You must start your day with gratitude. You must slot in gratitude in the course of the day, and at night. You must reflect and ask yourself, what are the blessings in my life? Grateful for them. You must have an attitude of gratitude. First step. Second step is you must always reflect on your motives and ask yourself, why do I want this? What hole am I trying to fill with this? I always ask myself, why do I want this? What is the purpose of this? Is it in line with God's purpose for my life for now? Is it in line with God's plan for my life for now? Is it in line with God's will for my life for now? Why do I want it? What hole am I trying to fill in my life? Honestly, staying in gratitude has always helped me. Reflecting on my motives always helps me. The third step is embrace enoughness. Embrace enoughness. You must reframe success as sufficiency, and you must see God as your ultimate source and supplier. Whatever you need, He has supplied. But most importantly, you must be a supplier. Oh my God. So I embrace enoughness, and I see and I plug myself into source as God being my supplier so that I can supply. So my mind is a supplying mindset. And I know that once I'm focused on supplying, the supplier will supply me. Now, it doesn't supply me according to my wants. It supplies me according to His own riches in glory. He has supplied all my needs, not my wants. So I embrace enoughness and I exercise the protocols of supplier and supplier. I position myself as a supplier and I supply thousands and hundreds of thousands of people daily. And because I have a multitude mindset and a supplier mindset and a gratitude mindset, the supplier supplies me. If you look at Jesus, at every point when Jesus needed to supply people, he always went to the supplier in gratitude. Father, I thank you. If you have a multitude mindset to meet the needs of humanity, the supplier will always supply you, always stay in contentment. Check out the wealthiest people in the world. Aliko Dangote, let's take the wealthiest black man in the world. Why is he the wealthiest black man in the world? He supplies millions of people's needs every day. The more needs you meet, the more pain you solve, the more you help people, the more God supplies you. God is in the business of people. For God so loved the entire world, multitudes, that he gave. He will keep giving for that reason. So you must embrace enoughness. So I've said G, gratitude. R, reflect on your motives. E, embracing enoughness. The second E is establish boundaries. Always learn to say no to unhealthy appetites and to toxic environments. What you don't need, you don't need. Hello? What you don't need, you don't need. You must learn to establish boundaries. You must learn to say no. You know, they taught us this song in nursery school, you know, wherever you go, 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 go. Wherever you be, CCA, do not say yes when you mean to say no. Baba Isale. They're teaching us to live content lives and to let our yea be yea and our nay be nay. It is teaching us to establish boundaries. The D speaks to discipline your desires. You've got to learn to delay gratifications. You've got to learn to walk away from things. You've got to learn to live a satisfied and content life. You've got to learn to discipline your desires. You cannot have everything that you want when you want it, how you want it. It's just not right. And then Y stands for yielding to God, yielding to the Holy Spirit, and yielding to God's guidance. God has to be your God positioning system. It has to be your GMAP. And you have to plug in the coordinates or the destination of your destiny and your purpose and allow God to lead you one turn per time, one step at a time, one day at a time. Remember, you want to break free from the traps of greed. That's right, so that it doesn't destroy you. Greedy, 6 steps. Gratitude practice. Reflect on your motives, embrace enoughness, establish boundaries, discipline your desires, and yield to God. This will help you turn into grounded living. That's right. That's right. And the thing that is most important is develop contentment because there are many benefits of contentment. Contentment gives you peace of mind. Contentment brings joy that is not tied to possessions. Contentment leads you to a stronger, healthier life and relationships. Contentment gives you better health and longevity. Contentment gives you integrity and freedom. Contentment gives you sustainable personal and professional growth. Contentment leads to spiritual fulfillment. Contentment connects you deeply to God. Contentment aligns you with God's purpose, God's will, and God's, purpose for your life. And you must develop contentment to get rid of greed. You must develop contentment. And how do you develop contentment? Let me share with you. There are 7 steps. to developing content. 7 steps. And I'll use the acronym CONTENT, CONT. Because if you are content, you are free from greed. So, what are the 7 key steps to developing contentment? 1, make sure that you choose gratitude daily. Wake up, live gratitude every day. Own your own destiny. Walk your own path. Own your own season and at your own time. You have to accept that life moves in seasons. Own your seasons. Understand the dynamics of times and seasons. And your own times and season is different from anybody else. Your own purpose is different from anybody else's. Your own path is different from anybody else's. So own your purpose, own your path, own your times, and own your seasons. Then, and nurture simplicity. Live a life of simplicity. Reduce clutter. Focus on the essentials and the needful in line with your purpose and God's will for your life. T, trust God's timing. No comparisons, no rush. Trust God's kairos timing. The Bible says in Ecclesiastes there's a time and a season for every purpose under heaven. Do you know that you are a purpose under heaven? Your life is God's purpose under heaven. There's a time and a season for you. Likewise, there's a time and a season for the 7.8 billion other people. You've got to trust God's timing, not your own plans. For the Bible says that many are the plans of a man, but only God's purpose shall be fulfilled in God's time. E stands for engage in service of humanity. You've got to live to give of your talents, your competencies, your skills, your resources to add value to humanity. You've got to shift your focus from hoarding to giving, from lack to abundance. That's right. You have to engage in service of humanity. You are actually breathing because your purpose is still relevant and you are still relevant to the people that God has placed around you. So you have to engage in service. Give, 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 give. Selflessness is the key to contentment. Shift your focus from lack to abundance, from hoarding to giving. And stands for notice and live in the present. Notice and live in the present. If you live in yesterday and the trauma of yesterday, the mistakes of yesterday, your experiences from yesterday, you'll be driven by greed. If you are living in aspiration of tomorrow based on what you see other people achieving, you will live in greed. You've got to notice and live in the now. You must be fully here, fully present, not lost in someday island, dreaming someday dream. You've got to live the now. And T stands for train yourself to be content. Pursue your purpose. Pursue God's will for your life. Pursue God's vision for your life. Pursue excellence, not perfection. Pursue excellence, not excesses. This is how you escape from greed. This is how you protect yourself from greed. This is how, or more, you live a life that leads to fulfillment. This is how you live a life that leads to satisfaction. This is how you live a happy and content life. Learn to delay gratification. This is the key to a life of peace and contentment. I yield the mic. Thank you very much, Buki. Honestly, it's been such a joy to speak to this very real topic and a topic that many of us misunderstand. I want to speak to the role of society in fueling this greed culture. We have to be aware of social media because social media screams upgrade. It screams expand. It screams, show off only the seemingly good things in your life. Look at what other people is doing or what other people are doing. What is wrong with you? And if you do not master contentment, honestly, social media culture will master you. If you do not teach your children well, they will be driven by greed culture. Why? Because they live in a social media world. And it's important for you to model contentment. It is important for you to celebrate progress. It is important for you to acknowledge failure as part of your progress journey. It's important for you to recognize that life is dual, good and bad, ups and downs. It's important for you to reward harmony, not just results. You've got to teach yourself, you've got to live by example and teach your children how rest, contentment, peace is the key to productivity. Now, it's important for us to hear the whispers of greed. So you must be aware. So greed whispers you don't have enough. Greed whispers you are not enough. Greed whispers you need more. But contentment also is screaming louder than greed's whisper. But many of us cannot hear the screams of contentment. Contentment screams you are enough. Contentment screams you have enough. Contentment screams that God, the owner and the creator of the entire universe, dwells inside of you. Oh my God. The omniscient, the omnipotent, the omnipresent, the omnigbogboe. God, the Almighty, dwells inside of you. My God. Meaning that you can never lack anything if you tune in, you tap in to your source and your supplier, and you connect with who he wants you to supply. I've never seen a conduit pipe dry. I've never seen an electricity cable that does not convey current. Hello? Don't you know that you are a conduit and you are already connected to source? But the thing about us is we're not connecting that cable or that conduit to supply. Imagine having a departmental store like Tesco. Tesco have suppliers. They have suppliers for many goods. However, if Tesco failed to supply based on people's demand, there will be no space for the suppliers to keep supplying. Do you get it now? You're like a Tesco. Find the people that need you to supply them. Identify what needs and pain and problems and challenges they have. Position yourself and plug yourself to be a supplier. Heartily supply. Desire to supply. Then plug your conduit, your pipe, your cable to source that is deep within you. It says, out of your belly shall flow rivers of living waters. Contentment screams that peace is within you. Joy is within you. Happiness is within you. Fulfillment is within you. Satisfaction is within you. Wisdom is within you. Love is within you. Hope is within you. Everything that you're looking for out there is in one almighty, all sufficient, all knowing, all powerful God that dwells inside of you. And if you do not have a personal and intimate relationship with Him, and He alone satisfies you, you would always have gaps and vacuums in your life that greed will try to fill. Greed is trying to master you, but you cannot serve two masters. You can only serve one. Greed is competing with the source within you. Who are you going to yield to? If you choose God, you choose contentment. If you choose God, you choose abundancia. If you choose God, you choose peace. If you choose God, you choose God's definition of success for why He has placed you on this earth. If you choose God, you choose wisdom. If you choose God, you choose wealth and prosperity. that money can never buy. It is important for me to close by saying never look for quick wins. This is a whisper of greed. Never look for quick wins, quick success. Stop looking out for breakthroughs. Pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. And I want you to think about one particular area in your life where greed has been showing up. Maybe in your career, maybe in your finances, maybe in your relationships, even maybe in your social media habits. I want you to hold that picture in your mind. And the next thing I want you to do, I want you to name 3 blessings that you already have in that area that you haven't fully acknowledged and celebrated. And say them out loud to yourself and write them down on a gratitude note. Yes, and stay in gratitude, because gratitude is how you disarm greed. Now declare this with me slowly and with deep conviction. Let's go. Say with me, I am enough. I am enough. I have enough. Why? Because God is enough and God dwells inside of me. Wow, wow, wow. I want you to type that in the chat room for me. I am enough. I have enough. I have God, and God is enough, and God dwells inside of me. Type that into the chat room for me. Type that into the chat room for me. I am enough. I have enough. God is enough, and I have God, and God dwells inside of me. Quickly type that into the chat room. Type that into the chat room. Waiting for you. Type that into the chat room and whisper it to yourself. Type it into the chat room and whisper it to yourself. Awesome stuff. Finally, I want you to commit to one small practice every day. I want you to always choose contentment over greed. Before you make any purchase, pause. Before you look for that next aspiration, pause. Before you chase after that perfect thing, pause. Before you run out to try and acquire that next thing, pause. Take a moment and be grateful for what you already have. And ask yourself, what is the motive for this next thing? Always pause and ask, do I really need it? What do I have that is a blessing in my? And in that moment, just say a gratitude prayer to God. Father, I thank you. Anybody that notices, whether I'm chatting with you, whether I'm having a conversation with you, I'm sending a text, I always end it with God is great. It's a reminder to me that, wow, I am grateful to God that I have God within me, and God is faithful always. He has never, ever in recent times let me down, and God will never, ever let you down. Just connect with Him and be content with Him, for God is enough for you. Wow. On that note, we will call it a wrap for tonight. I want you to promise to share this message with everybody you know. Make sure you share this message on Clubhouse. Make sure you share it on YouTube. Make sure you share it on podcasts. Share it on every platform that you know that your followers, your family, and your friends listen to, because this will be a blessing for them. Remember, give. This is a gift that needs to go out to the world. On that note, I want to thank you. I am successful. I look for and find opportunities where others see nothing. I am a lifetime learner. I am solution focused. I see only solutions. I am a solution.